Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to Assorted Sundries. Q&A. Yay. So I figured let's do a Q&A vid because we haven't done one in a long time. And I have a lot of new people around, my little newbies. And y'all don't necessarily go back a million years and watch all of the old Q&As, although some of you have seen every single one of them and thus know everything about me already, basically. Because I am pretty much an open book. I always try to truthfully answer any questions that are posed to me. I don't always comment on every single comment. You guys have probably noticed that. But usually if there is a question in the comments, I try and answer it because that's what I'm here for, is to answer your questions. So I do miss one every now and then. I don't know, either I'm tired when I'm scrolling through, or sometimes if I'm on my phone looking at the comments, they don't always pop up, and then I'll just inadvertently miss one. So if I've ever missed any of your questions, I apologize, because I do really try to answer every single question, because it's just, I don't know, that's just manners. If somebody asks you a question, you should answer. Especially if you're somebody like me and are trying to, I don't know, making a living here on ye old YouTube. Any hoodles, let's get to the questions and enough of my blabbing. Okay, number one, the first question. These aren't really in any particular order, but I've gathered them all. Susan asks, if you had a day, 24 hours in the TARDIS, what would you do? Which doctor is with me? Is it David Tennant? Because we just do whatever he wanted to do. I do whatever he wanted. What would I do? Well, of course, you don't want to like change the past. You shouldn't really muck about with that. But what would I do? I would probably actually want to go to the past and just look. See what the hairstyles actually looked like in person, because, you know, the old past, it's all in paintings, and depending on the skill of your painter, I don't know. So my historical hairstyles would be truly historical, I guess. I would like that very much. And maybe perhaps go into the future and see what hair looks like there. Does this seem frivolous and silly? Sure, but that's what I'd like to do. Like, I don't want to butt into any actual historical things that could be happening. I'm too afraid of the butterfly effect and whatnot. But just to see things in the flesh, as it were, would be super cool. What sporty activities are you most excited to get back to? Do you have old tapes or photos from your competitions you would be willing to share? That is from Ms. Aerosensa. I used to compete in dance competitions. I think we did a theater competition once too. But dance, I did dance competitions every summer, and modeled when I was little, like a T pattern, you know, toddlers and sierras. I wasn't a toddler, but I think from the age of 5 until I was probably 10 or so. That sounds about right. I modeled. Basically, we went for dance competitions, but the money was in pageants, so I would just also enter the pageants so I could get money, because there wasn't a lot of money in the dance portion. Any hoodles. And I loved pageants and dance competitions. I loved getting to stay in hotels. I loved meeting girls from, you know, all over the area. And basically we'd have a great time, especially if there was an indoor pool. I'm just saying. And I got to travel, like my mom and Graham, and sometimes my pap would go, and we would get to travel and do things and stay in hotels, and it was great. Any hoodles. I have nothing from any of my competition days. They had video cassette recorders, like video cameras that you could put a full-sized VHS tape in and record, but my mom didn't even get one of those until school bus, sorry. My mom didn't even get one of those until I think I was a junior in high school, and I had already stopped competing by then. So I've got nothing from competitions. I know that once upon a time there were tapes from our recitals every year, also on VHS, and I have no idea where those might be. I just have no idea. So I have nothing, no video things to show you from when I used to dance and compete. Sorry, guys. It's just the way it is. What else was there? Oh, what sporty activities are you most excited to get back to? I can't wait to do my Tai Chi and my yoga and go back to weightlifting because I really enjoyed all three of those things. I've never been real big on cardio. Like, I don't run. I can't run. I've tried. It is not... I'm a fairly graceful person. I mean, I had tap, jazz, and ballet for like 14 years, right? 12 years. 12 years. And like, I can still tap dance. I can still go on point, even as fat as I am. But as far as like volleyball or basketball, like that kind of sporty thing, that was not my jam. It wasn't fun. So cardio is not my jam. And I cannot run. I do not run like a gazelle. It's like, I don't know. Even when I was skinny, I couldn't run. I'm not a runner. I wish I was, but I'm not. So I'm really looking forward to getting back to my Tai Chi. I've done a little bit of yoga already, but I have to refresh my Tai Chi moves. And then, yes, once I feel like I got a little bit of stamina, back to the weights. Yay. Alrighty. Do you have any gardening ideas? I can't help but start planning my garden way early. That is from Banana Life. I don't do the gardening. Joe does the gardening. He already has, pull this up. Can you see? Oh no, I've got it strapped down. But you've seen my other videos. He's got the seedlings started. There's like lettuce and greens and tomatoes have started, peppers. I know outside he has already planted onions, and I don't even know what all else. Joe does it. Joe does all the gardening. I don't do gardening. I do not like digging in the soil and coming upon worms or little toads and frogs jumping out at me. I don't like any of that. I like reaping the benefits, but I don't like putting in the work for it. It's not the work per se. It's all the critters that... I'm a wuss. I've told you guys this. So my ideas, though... I don't have ideas. I can tell you what's been working. Joe installed 2 raised beds last year. So he's already built another one for this year, and he is planning on building 3 more square raised beds and then 2 kind of long and skinny ones to kind of sort of go in the middle of them for asparagus and leeks and whatnot. We like the raised beds, though. They work really well, especially if your soil is, like ours, goes really acidic. I mean, even though he would turn in, you know, fertilizer or manure or whatever to try and, whatever he puts in to try and get it back so it's not too basic or not too acidic, it still constantly wants to go acidic for some reason. So the raised beds work really well because you put in your own dirt into those. So that worked really well for us last year, and that's the way we're going. So... yay! And if it's about flowers, my flowers are, we are redoing the backyard slowly but surely, a piece at a time, and it will be a beautiful oasis, but it will take years for that because, hello. Also, that costs money, but like I'm hoping we want to put a nectarine back there, and then we have to get our trees out front cut down. My Chinese elm has some sort of disease and it's not doing very well, and limbs just falling off. So that's got to come down, and then we're going to plant fruit trees. I know I want a cherry, probably do like a peach and a plum. Dwarf fruit trees though, so they don't get too big. Any hoodles, Joe. Joe is the gardening person. I have a black thumb and kill things. Can you help with some tips how to keep the ends in good condition, and if there are some oils or something that can help grow longer and healthy. That's from Pukanin4. I just uploaded a hair care video for 2018, just like last month. So last month? No, it's March now. So in January. And that is everything I do for my hair from start to finish. And it was like 25 minutes long because I covered every single thing. So if you need any sort of hair care tips, that's where I will point you. I suppose I'll link it down here for you so it'll be easier for you to find. Pukanin. As far as anything to help your hair grow longer and healthier, there is nothing that you can, there is no magic pill. I've said this many times. There's nothing you can take or just put on top of your hair that will help it grow longer or faster. Just take care of it. That is how you keep it healthy. Trim the ends. If they start to split, trim them off. I'm not saying trim off 4 inches. I'm talking trim the ends. If they split, because that'll keep it from splitting up further on the shaft and will keep your hair healthier overall. So, you know, keep your ends trimmed. This does not mean to trim it every 6 weeks. You can trim it like every 6 months, quite frankly, or once a year, depending on how hardy your hair is. Try not to use heat tools on it too often. Try not to bleach it out or dye it too often. And if you do decide to bleach or dye, then definitely don't use heat tools. Your hair can take a certain amount of damage. You have to determine how much damage it is your hair can take. Some people's hair can take a lot. They can take heat tools. They can take dye, and they're still doing okay. Some people, neither of those things. A little bit of heat, and their hair becomes super fragile. A little bit of dye, their hair becomes super fragile. So you have to determine what your hair is like, which is trial and error. Because I can't tell you, because I know what my hair can take, but I don't know what your hair can take. How long have you had this channel? And also, have you ever had short hair? That's from Chrissy. This channel started July 1st, 2008. I know because I went and checked to see when I uploaded my first video. July 1st, 2008. So I have been at this for a long time. That's, as of July, it'll have been 10 years that I have been at this. It's a long time. I started when I was 31 and I am now 41. So, or I guess, yeah, I started at 31, but I will be 42 this year. Anyways, hi. Have I ever had short hair? Of course I've had short hair. Anybody that has ever had long hair, unless they have actually never cut it, has had short hair. I'm hoping I could dig out a picture where I had like a shoulder length bob at the time. I should have some pictures because that's when I graduated from college. And like when I married Joe, I had a bob. I will never have a bob again. It was way too much effort to keep it looking nice. But I've had hair shorter than that. I just don't have any pictures because all the pictures of when I was a kid are at home. But I did have the, almost shaved up the back and real short, a little bit long on top. If any of you guys remember Night Court, I had Marky Post's hairstyle. It wasn't pretty. It especially wasn't pretty on an 11-year-old kid because nobody that's 11 should have a grown woman's 80s permed. It was bad, but I had that hairstyle. So I've had it. That's like boy short. I've had it boy short. Does not look good on me. The bob looks okay, but it was way too much messing about with it. Ugh. But yeah, I've had it short. I like it long. Will I ever cut it again? Maybe. I might. I'll never say never, but the shortest I'll ever go is bra strap length. Because I know all the different lengths of my hair in BSL. That is the shortest I'll ever go, because then it'll still feel long, but you know, more manageable. It's not, this is fine. What I have now is manageable, but you know, you wear it down every day when it's BSL. Um, from Vigilant Cray, I don't know if it's Cray or Crahi. I'm going to go with Cray. Vigilant Cray asks, do you prefer tea or coffee? Have you ever had the Harney & Sons blueberry green tea? I drink coffee more often because I have coffee every morning, although I usually have tea in the evening, or if it's cold, I'll have tea. My favorite tea thus far is Lady Grey. I like it the most. It's hard to get a hold of. They have Earl Grey everywhere over here, but Lady Grey is more difficult. I usually have to buy like a combo pack, and I like Earl Grey fine, so I have my Earl Grey, and I always think of Patrick Stewart, Captain Picard, and his Earl Grey. And English breakfast is okay. I do not like Irish breakfast at all. Blech, it's gross. I do not like it. So I just have like packets of Irish breakfast. I have to find another use for tea because I don't like it. But, and I've not had the blueberry green tea. I have not tried that yet. LP asks, have you noticed your hair getting thinner post-surgery or post-meno? No, weirdly, I thought it was getting thinner. I really did, because it seems like I had a lot of fallout from my brushes, right? I was like, oh, maybe I am losing more hair than I thought. But I don't think that was actually it. Well, I know it's not because before surgery, my ponytail circumference was 5 inches. And I know it is still 5 inches because when I made those little things when we were doing nightfall to go around the braids, I had to make one to go around my ponytail holder. And I had to make it 7 inches because my ponytail circumference was still 5 inches. So I have not. My hair has not thinned. I think what was happening where I was noticing more fallout in my brush was the simple fact that post-surgery, I was trying not to do much with my hair. So I would just leave it in a braid for a couple of days or put it in a bun and just, you know, take my bun down and put my bun back up. But I wasn't brushing through my hair every single day. And when I would brush, it would be the cumulative fallout from a couple of days. So it seems like it was a lot, but it was actually just normal. So no, not having the hormones or whatever, it didn't really affect my hair. That's what I was really afraid of. I really thought my hair was going to fall out, but it didn't. Brown-eyed Susan, hey Suze, asks, do you get creepy, pervy, stalkery people hassle, and how do you handle them? All right, she's talking about the hair fetishists. If you are unaware, anything in the world has a fetish, quite frankly. If you can objectify something, somebody somewhere has objectified it and they have some sort of weird, pervy sexual fetish about it. It is just a thing. I joke a lot and say I have fetishes about all sorts of things, but true fetish, I don't have any. Do I get people that do fetishize my hair? Sure, I do. By and large, these folks, I get messages sometimes. They're very, very polite. I mean, they say nice things, of course, which is always nice. We always like to hear a compliment. There's nothing wrong with that. And if they're using my videos for self-pleasure purposes, you know what? I don't care. That's fine. Whatever tickles your pickle. It doesn't hurt my feelings any. I'm just glad that there's something out there that can help you. Great. It really doesn't bother me. And by and large, I would say that 95% of the messages I get from men, and it is all men, it's never been a woman, it's all men, that have sent me messages, have always been very, very polite and very nice. I do get requests sometimes for videos where all I do is brush my hair. And that's not the kind of videos I make. So I just let them know. I'm like, you know, I'm glad you like the vids thus far, you know, and thank you for the compliments. But I am not a fetish content provider. I'm here for people that want to deal with the hair on their head. I can tell you how to take care of it, or at least what works for me. I can show you different ways to put it up. I can show you different ways to make it fancy. But I'm not here just to brush my hair for you, or swish it around or whatever. Not that I think there's anything wrong with those videos. If you are a person and those are the kind of videos you make, good on you. Go for it. I don't care. It doesn't hurt my feelings. It's none of my business what you do. You do you. But I try and let them know. I'm like, I know that there are other ladies out there who make those sorts of videos. Go for it. Go find them. But that's just not the content that I provide. Do I care that you're watching my videos? No, watch them. I don't care. It's up to you, but just don't try and force me to make something for you. I used to have a guy at least once a year that would send would you please dunk your head in a bucket of water? I want you to dunk your head in a bucket for me. No, I'm not doing that. Why would I do that? I've had some people that want me to spread food in my hair, which is, I'm not sure exactly which fetish that is, but no. The only hair fetish people that truly scare me are the cutters. The guys that like to see women get their head shaved or all of their hair cut off. They scare me a little bit because you guys know I'm a true crime junkie. And there are men out there who get on public transportation, trains, buses, things like that, and they take a pair of scissors with them and say there's a woman with a long ponytail or a long braid down her back. They'll cut it off and keep the hair for themselves. And that is assault, and they scare me. They scare me a lot. Luckily, I do not take public transportation because it's just not available where I am. So I don't worry about it as much. And I am sort of aware of when people are around me because I'm older. But how do I deal with it? I just try to let them down easy. I mean, if they're polite to me, I am polite back. That's just manners. And by and large, they're all like, thank you very much for responding to me, and I will cease any weird requests from now on. And I'm like, cool, that rolls. They're not mean people. They just have a little thing that kind of, that's what they like, and that's fine. That's fine. You like what you like. I like what I like. We can all get along. But yeah, and if they are pushy after that, I just block them so they can't message me anymore because I don't need to deal with that in my life. Also, I'm older now, so I get it a lot less than I used to. When I was younger, like when my channel first started, I got it a lot. But as I'm getting older and less attractive to these kinds of people, that they're not really as into me, which is fine. Will you be doing a hashtag this April similar to last year's 30 Days of Hairstyles? That is Giovanna Bibic asks that. No. 30 Days of Hairstyles was taxing upon me, even though last year I was in the throes of endo, and I am good this year, but that was rough. And my hair was unhappy, and a lot of y'all also had unhappy hair. Quite frankly, I have been thinking about maybe doing just a hairstyle of the month. Like, for example, yesterday's hairstyle, the bobble bun should be like this month's hairstyle because I think it's one that a lot of you will actually try and do. So, like, the hairstyle of March is the bobble bun, and April will figure out a hairstyle for April. I think that works better. As far as doing a Vita for April, I don't think so. I might. We're still at the beginning of March. I might feel like it, but I'm going to say probably not because that's a lot of content for me to try and come up with. The hairstyles made it a little easier for me because at least I could just fall back on redoing the hairstyles every day. But that's a lot. And so no, I don't think we're going to do a hashtag. Finally, now they're 26 minutes in, finally, Lena Dunham and her endo journey. It was a bit controversial for her to remove everything except her uterus since she would like to have a child someday. And I read that most endo pain is centered in the uterus. That is from Frozen USA. I didn't put it on there, but I think she also asked if I'd read the articles she wrote and whatnot. I did. And she did have her uterus removed. She kept her ovaries. Yeah, Lena has had multiple surgeries. I think like the past 10 years, she's had like 10 surgeries. It's like an insane amount of surgeries. Since she is a celebrity, she has more money than most of us will ever comprehend having, and access to healthcare that most of us will never have access to healthcare like that. So she had many, many surgeries. Anytime a twinge of pain got back, she was back in for a surgery. Although I have read that so many surgeries might have actually made the pain worse just from her body constantly going through these surgeries, because I think she was like once a year she was in there just getting stuff cleaned up. And the reason she had so many surgeries was because she wanted to one day have children. So she was trying her hardest to save her ovaries, save her uterus, so that when the time was right for her, she could have children. But it just got so debilitating that she finally was like, absolutely not. And they found out when they took her uterus out that her uterus was completely jacked up in some way, which I can't remember off the top of my head. I know it was heart-shaped. I think it had like a seam, like your uterus is kind of shaped like a light bulb, and hers was like this because there was like almost like a seam. So she probably never would have been able to carry a child anyway, had she not had endo, just because her uterus was weirdly shaped, heart-shaped. But yeah, she kept her ovaries, which was not an option for me because my endometriosis was all over my ovaries. And I guess hers maybe wasn't. Or I guess it would have been, So, she kept her ovaries, so she's not going to have to worry about the hormones and stuff, which is great. But being that, where my endo was, my ovaries had to go, and I was just like, take every single thing. But I'm older than Lena. And my very first surgery was for the same reason. I wanted to have a child, and it was to try and save everything, get rid of the pain, and hopefully I would be able to get pregnant, which I wasn't. So I came to the decision that that would be fine. I think she's also keeping her ovaries because she would like to see if there are any eggs in there, because they could harvest the eggs and then she can use a surrogate to have her own biological child with her husband or boyfriend or whomever she decides to have a child with. A surrogate could carry the child, but it would still be her biological child, which that works for some people. Surrogacy is valid. There are some women out there that love being pregnant, but don't love, they know they can't afford to have like 12 kids or what have you. So, or just the goodness of their hearts. They want to help couples who have, issues, which they're very strong women. It has to be very difficult to carry a baby inside you for 9 months and then give it away. And she's also said, either surrogacy if she does have eggs. If she doesn't, then she'll go adoption, and that could be super fun. So, I wish her luck. I'm not a Lena Dunham fan, but I don't hate her either. She's just, I know who she is, and I have read when she's written about her endo, being a person that suffered from endo. It's always nice just to hear about somebody else's story, so you have a little bit of commiseration and you're not alone. I do appreciate that she has been so outspoken and loud about it. I know that's a part of her personality that turns some people off because she is very opinionated and kind of loud and has her own thing. That's who she is. Like her, don't like her. But I like that she's been loud about this, because there are a lot of celebrities that have suffered from endo that you probably didn't even know. Whoopi Goldberg is one, although she has talked about it a lot more recently. I think she even has a line of things that help endo sufferers, they have to do with cannabis. So I'm sure they're available in Colorado, but who knows? Washington State, California, probably. But Padma Lashke, she has talked about it. Did you know that Dolly Parton had endo? I didn't. Dolly had endo. She had an emergency hysterectomy back in the 80s, and she was completely devastated by that because she had wanted children, and everybody knows Dolly would have been a great mama. But yeah, so I mean, there's a huge long list of celebrities with endo, and then nobody ever talked about it, ever. I didn't even know what it was when I was diagnosed with it. So, I mean, can you imagine how frustrating? And I had a fairly decent sex education because it's before they pulled back and started doing just abstinence only. They actually told us how things happened. But I'd never heard of endo. It just, like many women's issues, it's just something that is not talked about. And I don't know why. All right, so that's that. It's going to be 32 minutes. I apparently babbled a lot. So when I go to edit this, that should be fun. But you guys like the babblers? And since our hairstyle was so nice and short, hey, before anybody asks what I'm wearing, this is the bunny bun with lots of extra dingly bobs. Yeah, diggly daggly bobs. It's a bunny bun though. I just added some flowers and some sticks, and why not? Because it's fun. I love the little dangly hair sticks. Listen. Yeah. So that's what it is, the bunny bun. Available on my channel somewhere. Alrighty. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Have a great weekend. Be good at it. Bye.